What's going on, hot dogs? Welcome back to the YouTube, and today we're going to talk about some of the original comics that I have written. I've got one just over there, and yeah, I've got loads of ideas coming into my head on a daily basis. But before we get into that, if you would consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and go check out my TikTok. I shall put it up here, Hot Dog Comic Books. That'd be much appreciated. I'm going to try and do some more long content. I do like talking. You probably know that already. But without further ado, we're just going to jump straight into it. So we're going to talk about a few. First off, we'll talk about the Star Wars one. I've actually got it over there. None of this is completed. There's one called ShieldMadien. We'll talk about that later on. That has got more or less two issues written, but they're all on my phone, so they're not like professional on the PC or whatever. But that is written. Star Wars, the Battalion one that I'm going to talk about in a second, is on some paper. So let's just jump straight into that one. And yeah, if you like this video and if you want to see more, just let me know. So the first one is called Battalion, a Star Wars story, written by yours truly. I finished this last week. I've actually wrote this one twice before, and I've gone, nah, the same principle, just different characters, different clones, different Jedi. This one is, I always liked the idea of siege battalion, where they have to go in behind enemy lines, and basically one starts here in front of enemy lines and the other one, so the 626 siege battalion is experts in just that. That's literally it. But there's a small group of them that are basically ODSTs. Side note, one of the best games ever made. And they drop behind enemy lines and do rescue missions, search and rescue, and search and destroy. So they are brought in to retake a planet called Gemox in the last few weeks and month of the Clone Wars. And they got some pushback, and they keep making one step forward, two steps back. But then the tides turn and they are able to take the city, and Order 66 happens. We all know what happens, but this is about grief, trauma, not just about Order 66. So we got 2 Jedi and 3 or 4 main clones. We are going to talk about the Jedis first off. So I'm going to paint a picture. Jedi Master Quinn Ranan. I'm struggling to say these, and even though I'm the one that came up with them, is a male Miralaku. I'll put it on screen, okay? Basically, that species is blind. They don't have any eyes, like just flat. And in my story, I was like, I want a blind Jedi. I think that's so cool. They have to connect deeper to the Force. Yes, please. And luckily, I found a species that are blind. So that's sick. Yeah, he carries a blue lightsaber, and he is a Jedi that, like Qui-Gon Jinn, trusts in the Force, meditation, and would rather use his lightsaber till last. You know what I mean? He wears pale white robes, so he is very old, High Republic-esque. I love the High Republic. So he has pale white robes worn down with gold trim, and then he has a face mask on, like Kanan from Rebels, with a High Republic symbol on it, but it looks bad. It's been passed down from Jedi Master to Padawan and so forth. And then his Padawan, Fennel Raxus, the 20-year-old female Mikalan, that's wrong, I'll put it up here again. And there is 2 twins in the Clone Wars that get killed right at the start of just before Order 66, season 5, I think. I'll flash the species up. And I went with a blue, light blue tone skin colour, and then pink. I think that's really cool. And she is the humour to the very quiet Jedi Master. But she's very headstrong. She very much puts herself second when she needs to, she thinks, which is a good thing, she puts other people first, but sometimes because of that, she struggles. She is, like I said, she has pale white robes as well, but not as pale. She obviously takes inspiration from her master, and she has a blue lightsaber as well with a silver hilt. So yeah, I really like those 2 Jedi. They're going to be similar to Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in terms of like the banter, but strong together. But they're both independent. But because of the war, throughout the war, Jedi Master Quinn has become more quiet, turned into meditation, and his Padawan Fennel has done the other. She has become more loud to basically hide her true emotions. So yeah, so Jedi Masters are quite cool, and Padawans. I don't know if she's too old to be a Padawan. I'm not done any proper research. This is all literally just jotted down. And then we've got 4 clones. So we've got Clone Commander CT-0206, aka Commander Dice. He leads the battalion. And then his right-hand man essentially is ARC Trooper Ronan. And then the 2 main clones, let's say, normal clones as well, are CT-2332 Drop Shot and CT-8181 Jester. So we'll quickly run through, because I've been talking about this one quite a long time already. Clone Commander Dice. The reason he's got his name is because apparently he's quite good at gambling. He doesn't say that he is, he confirms nor denies, but I want him to be somewhat of a Captain Rex kind of esque, and Ronin being his like right hand man. But the reason he got his name was because he was like a lone wolf, and he didn't listen to his superiors. So basically like Noble 6. Ronin is Noble 6 from Halo Reach Peak game. Drop Shot is a sergeant, and he is Crosshairs, but better. And Jester is the Joker of the group, hence his name, hence his CT number 8181. Haha. But he uses, like the Padawan, he uses humour to cover up his guilt of the war, the trauma, depression, and just he feels terrible that all of his brothers were bred for war, and it gets to him. So all 4 of them are going to be massive players in Order 66 when it kicks down. So pretty happy with that story, and that is really it. Really, it's a Star Wars story through and through. It's going to have aliens, it's going to have droids, but it's a real story as well with real problems. Like I said, with depression, anxiety, separation, anxiety as well, with the Padawan. So I'm excited to delve deep into that. I love Star Wars, and it's something that I know, so I'm quite confident in it. But let's talk about ShieldMadien. We'll quickly talk about this one because even though when I quickly talk about this, is probably my favourite one. I love ShieldMadien. Probably you can tell by the name, it is about a ShieldMadien Viking. I love Vikings, Viking-esque, just Norse mythology and all that. And this is a story, again, about trauma, guilt, and learning to become who you are, And yeah, so long story short, Rika the Ball. Rika is a shield maiden, a very well known and famous shield maiden, and her brother gets slain in battle, and her and her father have to travel up a hill or up a mountain to bury her brother at the top of it with their mother. But it's not as simple as that. She's going to meet some Drengir, she's going to meet some other Norse mythology beasts, as well as some gods like Odin. And her father and Rika are not on the best of terms. They don't see eye to eye. Rika's father, Gunnar, is very much like, why couldn't my son be here and you be in the whole kind of, yeah, he's not happy to say the least. But this story is important to me. It comes from a heart, like I've poured my own feelings and thoughts into this. So yeah, it just, on the surface it sounds like it's just a Viking woman and her dad take brother uphill. It's more than that. Yeah, I'm excited to share that one, and that's the one that I want to like fully complete, because it's original, and if I could draw, I would draw it so bad. I want to draw it so bad, but I just can't draw. So Rika will have to wait. But yeah, I think I see myself in Rika a little bit. So that one is pretty exciting. So but yeah, they're the main two. The other few are like, I'm a huge Titanfall fan, so there's one inside the Titanfall universe where it's kind of a Rogue One-esque mission. And if you've seen Rogue One, yep. I just like putting my characters through so much trauma and oh shit kind of situations. So and then I'm trying a new genre, like thriller, of a journalist getting thrown back into a job that she got told not to do, but because that's her job, she needs to report on these news after a new bit of evidence has been found out, and that evidence leads to her family in a pharmaceutical company, and they've not possibly done something wrong, and she has to come to terms with her family possibly doing something, and she needs to pick sides. And I'm going to leave that comic an open end. I already know how it's going to finish, literally the last page. So I just need to put everything else together. There's a few others. I want to do a horror comic, but I'm just not good at superhero. I can't, as much as I read superhero comics, I just can't write them. I can't write any good superhero comics. I keep thinking, oh, that sounds like this or that sounds like that. It does, but you can take inspiration, but my head goes, no, you need to have original, like, this is why I love Shield Maiden, and Star Wars is a massive thing, and my Star Wars story is going to be canon, so again, it's going to be interesting, and I know where I can and can't use certain characters and certain planets and stuff like that, so that's very exciting. But we're going to leave it there because I've rambled on about 4 stories and I've spoke most of it about Star Wars. So, but if you guys want to see more or hear more about my comics, I'm still trying to complete Carbon. I wrote that in probably 2014, 2015. I love that story, but I do need to go back and touch it up and finish it. So that is important. But if you want to see more, just let me know. And if you want to see updates on Shield Maiden, just let me know, because that I want to talk about more. I love that story so much. But thank you guys for watching. I know my videos aren't incredible or entertaining or exhilarating. I keep looking away, but this is like a diary, and I just want to talk about things that I like, and hopefully you guys like too. So thank you guys so much. If you've stayed to the end of the video, let me know. If you haven't, fair enough. But let me know which story you like the most, and yeah, if you want to talk about it more, just let me know. Like I said, go follow my TikTok, Hot Dog Comic Books. I'll flash up on screen, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which will be soon, hopefully. I hope so.